For those of you who stumble upon this video, this is kind of a response or talk to some people on Facebook, and well, you can just listen. So have a good one. All right, hey guys, Doug Smith. I have a problem with coming on a little strong on some issues. Christianity is one of those. Uh, I came off as disparaging when I was trying to be more discouraging, and that's just how I am. And another point that was brought up is that I was, calling people names, stuff like that, and that's true. I mean, I see people that believe in Christianity as foolish, ignorant, or stupid, and it depends on what you believe, how you employ it, and stuff like that. And I just I see the whole thing as a big joke. And when you tell me I'm going to hell because I don't believe in your God, it's for me that's like calling me a name. I mean, yeah, you didn't call me a curse word, but you imply that I'm going to go to hell because I don't believe what you believe. Uh, I don't remember the guy's name, but Dave was alright. He just quoted some stuff. I think it was Daniel and maybe a few other things. But this other guy, I think his name was James. I think. Actually, I could check right real quick. But anyway, yeah, James Holgram. Your arguments were weak at best. Uh, you really don't have anything to back up what you're saying. Um, I can show you tons and tons of proof proving that we evolved from an ape-like creature, not necessarily an ape. And you got Christians who try to use the argument, oh, if we evolved from apes, then why do we still have apes? Well, we share a common ancestor with the modern apes, the great apes is what they are. Chimpanzees, orangutans, uh, gorillas, bonobos, the great apes, and we fit in with them. But anyway, I see Christianity as blackmail and bribery. Blackmail, and that, well, we'll start with bribery. Bribery in that, hey, if you believe in my God, you get to go to this wonderful place when you die, and, everything is peachy, and this, that, and the other. And blackmail is in, oh, you don't believe in my God? Well, you're going to hell. Yeah. But if you want to believe in my God, you can go to heaven, you know. It's your choice, right? Another weak argument. It's just Christianity is, you could probably count on one hand how many people actually lived or live a Christ-like life, you know. And I know we all fall short of the glory of God. Whatever, man. And your argument of archaeology and fossil recovery and stuff of, oh, well, did you read that? Well, yeah, I read it, but somebody else went out and dug it up. Somebody else went out and did all the research, and I was able to look up the research online. It's fairly simple. And actually, I didn't really have to do all that because I learned all that stuff in school. But I did that so that I could post links. But anyway, I don't have any problem with Christians. I mean, if you want to be suckered and you want to believe that there's going to be some great afterlife and that you're somehow going to be a part of it, you can read in the Bible. It says only, what is it, I can't remember, 400 kings are the only ones that are going to be in. But then they changed that, and, well, Jesus died for your sins, and now you get to go in as long as you believe in him. There's just so many contradictions and hyperbole and just so much bullshit in the Bible. It's ridiculous. The contradictions alone should be enough to help most people open their eyes. I've actually even considered starting a recovery group. Recovering from Christianity. But anyway, uh, yeah, that's I don't want to necessarily apologize, but I just wanted to say, I wasn't trying to hurt people. I mean, if I'm attacked, I attack back. If I'm put into a position to debate something, I'll debate. And yeah, I'll call you a moron. If I think you're a moron, I'm gonna call you a moron. So, but that's just how that is. I'll let y'all in on a little secret. I used to be a Christian. Yeah, I used to be a Christian, but I'm not a Christian anymore. At the time I turned to Christianity, I had been on methamphetamine for 15 years of my life. I believed demons were chasing me. And, with the sleep deprivation hallucinations, it was hard to deny what I was seeing. So, yeah, I turned to Christ and eventually got off drugs and have been clean for 10 plus years. And, well, I say clean. I've been off meth for 10 plus years. I still do whatever I do. Whatever I want to do. But anyway, yeah, I just came to really believe in Jesus. I was praise and worship leader of several, well, I'd say several, a couple of different Celebrate Recovery programs. I was praise and worship leader at my church. Uh, I was, they had been considering making me a deacon in the church, and then I went to a Southern Baptist convention with my pastor, and I learned what it was all about. You want to know what it's all about? It's all about this stuff right here. That's what it's all about. Right there. Mm, yeah. That's all modern churches are about. They're all about money. I don't care if you go to a mega church in the middle of Tulsa, Oklahoma, or if you're going to some little, shack up in the Ozarks. You know, it's all about money. And I guess for me, trying to convince people that there is no God and stuff like that is more of a feeling bad for them because I know they're being duped. Excuse me. And, type of person I am, I see people being duped. I want to point them out of it, point it out to them. I've done other videos, like my UFO video. Uh, I made this to show people that most of the UFOs and shit they're looking at on YouTube are fake and are easily made. I mean, I've been a career welder. That's what I did for many years, and just in the past couple of years, I started doing this just for fun. So why try to wake people up? Well, religion is hurting this country. Religion's hurting the world. And I'm not just talking about Christian. I'm talking about all religions, except maybe Buddhism. The Buddhists seem to be pretty well adjusted. They're not trying to kill each other or attacking any other religions. As a matter of fact, as a Buddhist, you can be other religions, which is, if you're into that, that's not a bad religion. And I like the things that Jesus said. I like some of the things that Muhammad said. Um, I even, at one point in my life, considered becoming a Jew. Uh, I studied with a friend. I even went through a mitzvah, and which is just basically learning about Judaism and whatnot. But you know, it's hurting the world. Every religion seems to be at every other religion's throat. Um, And the sad, twisted part is everybody's praying to the same God. So is that God's fault, or is it the people who wrote these books' fault? Like the guy that wrote the Quran, or the hundreds of people who wrote the Bible. And like when I was talking about the story of Jesus, it really is just a retelling of the story of Horus. And if you don't know the story of Horus, look it up. I'm not going to spoon and feed everything on here. Um, it's almost word for word. Everything that Jesus supposedly did was done by Horus originally. And actually there have been many other people throughout history who have had the same story. Virgin birth, uh, performs miracles, did all these things, and then was dead, rose from the grave 3 days later, and ascended to heaven. And supposedly did all this for you. You know, yeah. God dang, it's just it it's so hard to understand. I mean, I can see in some instances. That's why I asked Dave. That's why I asked you what happened to you. You know, because it seems to me that a lot of the people who are in these religions have had something traumatic event in their lives that have made them, well, really made them think about their own mortality and what comes next. What's after death? That is the great mystery. But why worry about it? You know? I mean, really, why worry about it? It's like I sat down with my pastor one day and I asked him. I said, Pastor Kent, I said, what's the deal? I mean, if the only way to get into heaven is to believe in Jesus, what happens to the guys, to the tribes in the Amazon who have never, I mean, they've never even had contact with the outside world, let alone know anything about Jesus. My pastor was a doctorate in theology. He sat there and thought, and he came out with, well, if you're not aware of Christ and you have no knowledge of the Bible or anything, then you get some sort of free pass into heaven. So at that moment, I was kind of pissed. I was saying, so because you guys told me about Christianity, now if I don't accept Christ, I go to hell? I mean, what the fuck? I mean, seriously? So, there's just a lot of little things like that where you can just pick apart the Bible in minutes, literally pick it apart and show that Noah. Let's take Noah. Here's an elderly man who supposedly got two of every creature on the planet onto a ship. Well, we can't even make ships big enough to haul two of every creature right now. All right. And for an elderly man and his family to have done something like this, I mean, it's impossible. I mean, it's literally impossible. And and I've heard people say, "Oh, well, he had God's help." Of course he did. Of course he had God's help. How could I have been so stupid? I mean, Jesus. And then, I mean, you can look at all the different creatures that supposedly have lived, unicorns and chimera and all this stuff. And of course, you don't ever hear those on a Sunday morning sermon, do you? They tend to stay away from all that shit. And then you have, you point out the contradictions between the New and the Old Testament. And after, oh, well, we don't go by the Old Testament. Yeah, unless you're trying to persecute someone. Then you'll use that Old Testament in a heartbeat, won't you? But it's, the people that run these churches, they're in it for the money. And it should be apparent to everyone when, you know, pastor gets arrested for fucking 4-year-old boys or another pastor resigns because he was caught jerking off on, what, what was that? Oh, chat roulette. I mean, and these are the people that are leading the flock of sheeple, you know. And that's the way I kind of view most of you. I think, like I said before, I think some of you had some traumatic experiences, and you, you feel, you know, like you need to get in touch with something. You need to be thankful for, whatever it is you made it through. For me, I was very thankful when I got off methamphetamine. I gave all the glory to God when I should have been proud of myself. I should have been very proud of myself. Only 5% of people get off methamphetamine, or I think it was 1 in 5. Or actually, yeah, no, I think it was 5%. 5% of the people who are methamphetamine addicts actually get off and stay off. So I'm fortunate there. And I'm sure that some of you say, oh, well, you should still give that glory up to Jesus. No, I did it. I'm the one who went to the meetings. I'm the one who made sure that every night I was out somewhere where I wasn't using drugs. I'm the one who made sure I was always around people who didn't use drugs so I wouldn't use drugs. I did all that. I'm the one who worked the 12 steps, you know. And, looking at it that way, the whole God concept really started. I mean, when I got sober, you could say that my logic and faculties and all that also returned to me. I grew up, I didn't grow up in a Christian home. I grew up in a home where science was God. I watched Carl Sagan and Cosmos. I watched Nature on PBS. Those were the shows that I watched. And I watched all that stuff with my father. Uh, so when I did, turn to Christ, I mean, it was a huge step, you know, turning over my life to some, you know, spiritual entity who was supposed to be there to take care of me. Of course, they never did. And I had Christians tell me, hey, if you pray enough, God will just lift that burden off of you. You can pray till you turn blue in the face, and unless you lift a finger to fucking do something, you can bet your ass that God ain't gonna do anything. Yeah, and there's lots of things that you could do to prove to yourself that there is no God. I mean, how many times have you called upon God and he's just like, I'll get down there in a bit, doing something, make another universe over here. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of clarify my position, make sure that y'all didn't think that I was out just trying to hurt people, uh, and that's about it. So y'all have a good one. Take care, and your religion doesn't make you good. Your actions do. Have a good one. Laters.